Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Canton Forum. I'd invite you all to please keep enjoying your lunch. Thank you for attending today. I'm Alan Fraley, Chairman of the Forum Committee, and on behalf of the Repository and the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce, thank you for attending today's event at the McKinley Grand Hotel. You know, corporate America is challenged by global competition unknown to our parents' and grandparents' generation. Getting employees of all generations to work productively on the same page is one of its toughest tasks. How are local businesses adapting their cultures to attract, retain, and motivate employees of all ages? Today, three panelists will explain how they successfully worked with employees of veteran, baby boomer, Gen X, and millennial generations. Before Mr. Tinnis takes center stage to introduce our panelists, I'd like to introduce the other members seated at the head table. From the Canton Chamber President CEO, Dennis Saunier. Chamber Chairman of the Board for 2008, Tim Maloney. Representing the Repository, Geoff Gauger, Executive Editor. And our invocator, Reverend Dr. Nicholas Gambas. The Forum wished to take a second to acknowledge the Silk Foundation for its generosity in promoting educational opportunities for Stark County students throughout our Forum season. Today, a group of University Career Development Officers from Stark County were invited to bring a few soon-to-be graduates. We want to thank the Silk Foundation for this opportunity. A special thank you to Time Warner Cable for its monthly broadcast of the Forum throughout the season. Today's program will feature our panel moderator, Frank Tinnis, Dean of Corporate and Community Services at the Advanced Technology Center, Stark State College of Technology. He has completed extensive research on the chemistry of multiple generations in the workplace. You wrote this, didn't you, Frank? Before joining Stark State, he spent more than 20 years working for Fortune 500 companies, both large and small. He is responsible for corporate planning and effectiveness for Kinetico Engineering Systems, and he ran his own consulting business. Presenting our panelists this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Frank Tinnis.
Thank you, Alan, and yes, I did write that. I figure if you write it in a difficult fashion, people will remember that you were, that you were introduced in an awkward fashion. At any rate, I am absolutely honored to be your moderator this afternoon because this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. It's the fact that we have multiple generations in the workplace present both challenges but opportunities for us as employers and as an economy. It is my pleasure to introduce the panelists for today. And first, I'd like to introduce Ms. Tracy Dunn, who is the Director of Global Inclusion and Talent Acquisition at the Timken Company, where she's been there for a year. But prior to that, for 13 years, she's had a career in human resource experience, focused in main part on diversity. At the Timken Company, they rally to the motto of, for their employees, come for the challenge and stay for the difference that you'll make. Tracy herself, at some point in time, would love to own her own restaurant. And I guess it's a new and different way to engage in human resources and bring the best out in that area. Next, I'd like to introduce Geoff Karcher, who is the founder and president of the Karcher Group, an international web design firm based here. And Geoff has been running that company for 10 years. In fact, I understand you just had an anniversary, 10-year anniversary. And the rallying motto for the Karcher Group is Think Web Design, for all to inspire the folks that are there. Geoff himself, if he had his druthers, and someday might, spend a couple of months with his wife and family and travel the whole country just to see what's out there personally. Okay. Our third panelist is Sue Oliveira, and Sue's the Vice President of Human Resources at the Altman Health Foundation, and she's just recently arrived there 18 years ago. And she tells me that the rallying phrase there at Altman is, "How can you make a difference?" And that's the message that they transmit to their employees. And Sue herself, when she has the freedom, when she will have the freedom to do this, would like to go out west and ski the slopes. Something she hasn't done, and sounds, and I was telling her earlier, she's been involved with healthcare people so long, she's willing to be a patient, I guess. But anyway, moving to our topic, you know, as an employer in America, you'd hope that if you hired employees that had been in America and familiar with the American culture and had come through the American education system, that these folks would be ready and willing to join your organization, understand what counts, understand how to get along with others, how to make the best contribution, all be on the same page, and just hit the ground running for your organization. If only that were true. Unfortunately, what we have today, and actually began in the late 90s, sometime around 1997, there are 4 distinct generations in the workplace. And addressing the needs, the motivational needs, and the success needs of those 4 generations is quite a balancing act, and not easy on a daily basis. It turns out that the members of those 4 generations encounter the same experience in the workplace, but because of their background, because of their prior experiences, they've developed value systems, personal value systems, that have them interpret that event differently. Okay? And the challenge that we all have as employers is to bring that out, to understand and have people talk about what's going on in the workplace and what it means for them. Okay, so what an event that might be a very pleasant experience for one generation would be a disaster for the others. I'm going to run through some of the characteristics very quickly of what characterizes the generations in the workplace. But the message that I want to start with, and then have you remember at the end, is please do not accept these generalizations as being 100% accurate. Don't go back to the workplace and say, "Hey, Sally, how old are you?" 42. Well, I just found out about you. Okay. This is a topic in which you're encouraged to delve deeper. What we're going to talk about are tendencies. Okay, and your challenge is to treat each individual and find out the truth behind what might be the tendency or the stereotype. Okay, but let's start with in the workplace. There are those folks that are the so-called senior citizens. They were born in the 20s and 30s. And even into the 40s. They're known as traditionalists. They're known as the silent generation. They're known as veterans. And they're known as the maturers. So you can choose any one of those topics. By the way, once, there's going to be a lot of information come out, but once this is over with, we have a handout if you want to get a series of references, books, articles, websites to go to. You'll be able to pick that up after this is over with. But the traditionalists, they were shaped by their experience with the Great Depression, the New Deal. They experienced World War II and the Korean War. From that, they've developed ethics of hard work, respecting rules, personal dedication, duty before pleasure, and a sense of honor and loyalty. Okay? Now, these folks in the workplace tend not to speak up. So they may be thinking things, but they're not talking about it, okay? So now you move on to the baby boomers, and they were born in the 40s through the 60s. What did they experience as they came up? Civil rights, the Cold War, sexual revolution, space exploration, assassination.